Today we're going to make this very cute little handbag. This is quite simple to make. We just need 2 pieces of material. The size of the handbag will depend on the size you cut out your material, but we're looking for one about that big. Now this piece is 57 centimetres long, 25 centimetres wide. I've taken one piece of material, the red, for the outside, and again I've used for the lining some backed curtaining. This just makes it a little bit stiffer and again makes it slightly waterproof. On top of that you need 2 pieces of material the same as your outside. Each one of these 25 centimetres long, 7.5, 8 centimetres wide. To make the handles, turn over each edge about 1 centimetre and iron it down flat. Fold it in half, then you'll be able to stitch down each side to create the handle. There are our handles. Now what we want to do is position these handles, one there and one about there. Now to find the right place to put them, fold your fabric in half. Remember that you've got a 1.5 centimetre seam on this side, there's no seam on this side. Fold it in half again so that the fold edge goes exactly where that seam would be. Now this point here is the centre point of your bag. You're going to come out about halfway, mark it with a pin. There you can see we have the 4 pins marking where the edge of the handles will come, and they're both exactly the same. Open your fabric out to the right side, put the outside edge of your handle where the pin is, pin it in place. Now when you go around like that, make sure you don't twist your handle. Now I'm just going to stitch along there to stitch those handles in place. There we've stitched those 4 handles in place. Put the lining on the top and we're going to stitch exactly along the same line and join those 2 pieces together. Now we've joined the outside of the bag to the lining. Now we're going to fold this in half and we're going to stitch right around each of those sides there, except we're going to leave a gap so that we can turn it to the right side. This is the point you need to take care that you match very carefully. The 2 colours show it quite clearly, so just put a pin at right angles there. Now I will stitch all the way around those 3 sides, leaving a gap here about 10 centimetres. Just a little hint in sewing this backed curtaining here. Some of the old backed curtainings were sprayed with rubber or a rubber type product, and they're really quite shiny and smooth. I find them quite difficult to sew like this. This one's here just a little bit fluffier, and that's a much easier one to use. We need to stitch from this corner up here so that the gap is not right on the edge there, but the gap is a little bit in. We do need to have that stitched at the corner. Next point is just a little bit tricky. We want to make these corners so the bag will sit flat like that. For each of these corners, we want to fold it out at 45 degrees, just like that. And to tell if it's right, those seams should be sitting exactly on top of each other. I prefer to open out the seams. Now we want to stitch a row of stitching right across at the 45 degrees. To get that straight, we're going to measure from the point up and make a mark. I've made that at 5 centimetres. From the point up to 5 centimetres. Take your ruler. Right, then we're just going to draw from that 5 point there and draw your line across, and that's where the row of stitching will go across. Do the same on the other corners. Cut across the corners like that. There we have all 4 corners of our bag stitched across. Find the gap, there it is. Pull the bag through to the right side. Next thing, we want to make sure that these corners pushed out nice. We have that little gap across the bottom there. We just need to stitch it over there. Now I've got red thread on this machine, and I reckon red thread would show on there something terrible. I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. Thread up your needle. I've used the double thread there. Pop a knot on the bottom. Bring your needle through from the back so that that knot is hidden on the inside. Then we're just going to what's called whip stitch. We're just going to pick up a piece of material from that side, a piece from the other side. Just stitch straight through. There it is, all finished. All we need to do now is turn this in there, and I'm just going to do 2 rows of top stitching around the top here to make the top of it smooth. There we are now. Now you can just leave the bag like that as it is, but what I like to do is do a row of top stitching around the side of the bag just to make it stand up nice and firm. First of all, make sure that you push the lining down so that these corners match beautifully, lining and outside. Push out there carefully. Fold up, directly up along that fold line for the edge of the bag there, just pin it. Stitch it from the top down to that point there. There, you can see that that reinforces the edge of that bag, the corner of that bag there. Do the same on all 4 edges. Right, I've done all 4 edges there. You can see that nicely squares that off. Do try to catch the lining when you do that seam, so you're stitching both the outside and the lining in there. Last stitch now you need to do is just stitch from the 2 bottom points, do exactly the same across the bottom like that. And there's our finished bag. Cute, huh?